Hello everyone, John here. Hope you're all doing well. John, if you're in the room there right now, can you give a little wave so that everyone knows where you are? Okay, hopefully he waved, or I'm going to feel really foolish right about now. What you're about to see today is one of the two videos that we prepared for this International Japan-Scotland Men's Shed Summit. The other is a beautiful, professionally shot, artistically delivered piece of cinematographical wonder done by our friend Alan Somerville of Somerville Productions. A very talented man with an incredible skill set. What you're about to see here today is a video created by this guy here in my home office back in Bonnyrigg. This will not be as slick or cleanly put together as what you might be enjoying with the cultural historical video, but hopefully it will be no less meaningful. This is a short film that we hope gives a little bit of insight into what goes on in Dalkeith Men's Shed, what the things that are important to us, and some of the stories that we shared along the way. At Dalkeith Men's Shed, we're based right here in the heart of Dalkeith, in a community hub that goes by the name of One Dalkeith. But it wasn't always that way. To hear a bit more about what brought Dalkeith Men's Shed and One Dalkeith together, I spoke to Douglas Strachan, the chairman of One Dalkeith, to gain a little insight into how this relationship developed all those many years ago.
So, well, One Dalkeith is a community development trust, which is a charity, but it's owned by and it's by and for members of the community in Dalkeith. And it started in 2015. It is a charity, but it also has to operate like a business as well. And it's all about people in the community making things happen for themselves. It's a vehicle for that. So in the sort of story of One Dalkeith, at a certain point in the story, we take on this building. It's an existing building, repurpose it, refurbish it. For the first wee while of doing that, that was all done by One Dalkeith volunteers, DIY. Just stripping things away and making it usable as a usable space in a kind of pop-up capacity. And so there was One Dalkeith volunteers that were stripping down walls and creating a space for that, and filling it with bringing in some of their own tools and so on. That included me. And at a certain point, we were able to get some funding for more substantial equipment. So we got about £15,000 worth of largely sort of more heavy machinery, if you like. The sort of larger tools that are in the workshop, and some of the smaller sort of hand tools. Now, the premise of that funding was actually not for the provision of tools per se. It was the reason the funding allowed, and it came through Edinburgh University, allowed us to spend the money on tools was on the basis that we were going to use them to make things for the community. And so one of the early projects, one of the demonstrations of having achieved that, is what you see behind me, which is these benches that are just outside the building. It was the men's shed that did these benches, and it just seemed like a really natural fit to say to the men's shed to use our workshop. And so although the One Dalkeith direct volunteering, if you like, on the DIY had kind of subsided, the men's shed kind of came in and were able to make good use of the space and of the workshop.
And make good use of the workshop space we did. Ever since that day of Douglas's kind invitation, One Dalkeith has been the home of Dalkeith Men's Shed and our base of operations, allowing us to spread out far and wide, reach the community, and do the things that we're passionate about. While community work is very much central to what we do at Dalkeith Men's Shed, we never lose sight of the clear focus of always remaining a free, open space for men's mental health peer support. You'll find us in One Dalkeith doing what we do come every Tuesday and Friday from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Both days provide very much the same experience, but coming at it with a different perspective. On Tuesdays, we run workshop days for unpaid carers, someone who cares for a loved one with additional support needs, be they a sibling, a parent, a child, or a spouse. These Tuesday sessions have been developed and funded by our partners at Vocal Midlothian, a government-backed organisation that seeks to provide unpaid carers with the help, guidance and support that they need. While Tuesdays are typically a quieter affair at Dalkeith Men's Shed, on Fridays it's not unusual to see upwards of 20 faces. Each Friday we begin at Dalkeith Library, where we enjoy a casual chat over tea, biscuits and coffee, and plan out the rest of our day. And if the people visiting Dalkeith Library happen to cast their eyes towards the display case, you'll find our bronze Shed of the Year plaque from 2025, showcased alongside a nice little standee telling the story of how Dalkeith Men's Shed and Polkie connected over the course of last year. At around 11:30 a.m, we'll leave the library and make our way back to 1 Dalkeith. And while the workshop is very often the thing that draws people in to Dalkeith Men's Shed, in recent months our developing relationship with 1 Dalkeith has for many become just as big a draw in its own right. Availability permitting, we're also offered the chance to sometimes use the other areas in 1 Dalkeith, such as the servery, the outer space and the circle. No matter the space that we find ourselves in, we're always given an extremely warm welcome by the incredible team of volunteers and staff at 1 Dalkeith.
Hi, I am Jade and I am the Operations, Finance and Facilities Manager here at 1 Dalkeith. With Dalkeith Men's Shed, I'm here every time that they are on the Tuesdays and Fridays, and I help to facilitate the space for them to make sure it's comfortable and warm and welcoming. We also do the occasional special event like a breakfast, and we do this because we really feel that the Men's Shed is a massive part of 1 Dalkeith, and we really appreciate all they do for us and the partnership we have. On a personal level as well, I truly believe in men's mental health support, as I have had family members and close friends that have suffered, and places like the Men's Shed really open up a new way of help for them that is lacking in other places. I love that the Men's Shed has a camaraderie around them, and that even when a new person's coming in, they're never made to feel like a stranger. They're always made to feel like an old friend kind of returning home. And to me, it really shows that their support is naturally occurring and nothing's forced about it.
So I am Paula and I volunteer. I do a lot of the kitchen related stuff. When they're in, I tend to keep the guys supplied in teas and coffees, occasionally some sweet treats, occasional breakfast roll. We had the Men's Shed leftover lunch. The guys are very accommodating in using up my leftover food. I love the fact that yous have got just somewhere to come and just have a blether, have a cuppa, get a wee treat. Because I know some of the guys didn't necessarily get out that much. So yeah, it's nice to just see them getting out the house and socialising and seeing them coming out their shell. It's a really valuable commodity in this day and age, that there's no enough things like that. There's no shame in needing to talk to somebody else.
What brought me to the shed was I originally saw the Men's Shed advertised, I'm not sure where, and what it did and what it hoped to do. And having been a technical teacher, retired technical teacher, I thought it'd be interesting to see what they had that I could help with or use to expand, and also see what kind of machinery and things they had to make things.
Since it was to try and find more skills and knowledge for passed around, just to find other people who are just like me, really, for learning practical skills and woodworking and things, to find something more in common with others.
The first day I felt really lost. I decided to come to Dalkeith Men's Shed because of my body. My body's not well. I can't Also, I can't drive, so I can't get down to my usual shed, which is McMary Men's Shed.
So number 3 bus isn't good enough then.
I mean, that would be a very short answer, number 3 bus.
I was sitting in the house no day, and then I got Stephen for the rugby club. He says, how do you fancy coming to my shed? I said, yes, I'll come, because it'll help me do things. I said, because when I've got this dementia, I just get, I'm mixed up. I said, but when I come to the men's shed, I get showed to do things, and that helps my dementia.
Just a wee bit of background, like I've spent most of my working life in New Zealand. And after I retired, I came back here, and in my time in New Zealand, I'd been involved with men's groups and environmental issues there. And I was looking to try and do both those things here. And I got involved in environmental stuff, but men's things were a bit more difficult to find. And I wanted the men's thing also for woodwork. I was keen, did that, was involved in a workshop in New Zealand. And so I wanted to carry on with those activities here. And I can't remember exactly where I heard about Men's Shed, but I did anyway. And I thought, oh, this sounds like it could be the sort of thing that I'm looking for.
Basically, my wife was going to local art club, and she was a bit miffed that I had 3 hours with nothing to do on a Friday morning. So she thought, there's a men's shed next to the art club, why don't you go along? And when I thought about it, one of the things I did want to do was kind of improve handicraft skills, get a bit woodworking so that I could do things in my own shed at home. It's a small shed, but I can do things in it. And I thought, it'd give me the confidence to try things.
Yeah, my first day at the shed was curiosity. I used to be a member of the Lammermuir Stick Dressing Society, and that's quite a drive. So I was like, I wonder if Men's Shed has anybody that does make sticks. So yeah, I came along. I brought some of my sticks with me as, you know, just to show the lads. There was some stick making stuff in the workshop, but they had been actually donated. There wasn't anybody in the Dalkeith Men's Shed that does sticks. So I was like, right, cool. Over time, I'll be able to work on my own sticks here and also help, you know, anybody that's interested work on their own sticks.
Probably when everybody's working away. Not just necessarily working away, but when you see everybody settled in, talking away or working away or just sitting chatting, discussing things, putting forward ideas, things that they can do, jobs, ideas for doing things. And also, which is an important thing, is discussing how we can bring in revenue, because obviously it doesn't run on fresh air. Anything that like this or anything at all to do with that type of thing needs some kind of revenue to keep it going.
But it's good, variety's a spice of life, so you're always learning from other guys. You know, you sort of trade new hobbies and interests, so it's good, yeah.
When everyone's working on a project, we're all stuck in, passing the knowledge. Everyone's got separate skills, but to bring it all together for one.
It's great for me. And I just like getting on with everybody. Everybody can just get on with me. And I just go on with everybody, and it's great. I love coming here.
Just a case of chatting to the other guys, which is part of the shed anyway. And they all just tell me to sit down and have a blather. And that's it. That's it. And that's the whole, it's not just about making things. So it's just a place for us to go.
If we make things for the local community, I would like to think that we can all do things to help people round about, make the place look a bit better. Guerrilla gardeners are always looking for planters to put things in. some elderly folk or even disabled folk are looking for a bit of help to do things around their gardens or their properties. And I like to do things like that because it makes a real difference to people's lives. So it's that simple.
At its best when it's humming with guys, busy on projects, working with, seeing guys collaborating on projects, because that's, I think, a big part of what guys are about, is a space where they can work alongside other blokes and just talk. Because I think it's quite a difference between men and women in that regard. I think that's male energy is different, and I just enjoy it. So I wanted to be able to share that.
A place for just knowledge and stuff to be shared. You could share your life, you could share experiences, you could share knowledge, you could share whatever you want to, really. It's a place to come find people that are similar.
I like to do making the models when you put the plaster in. That's what I want to do next, because I want to learn how to do it. Then I can make things for people, make things for myself, and I'm looking forward to that.
More men's shed. Each shed's different. Each shed is different. I've visited about 3 other sheds, and they've all been different.
For governments or local councils to help out a bit more, because in the long run it's a good thing. It's men's health, mental and physical, and the social aspect of it is very important. So yeah, for the local councils to help out, it makes so much more sense. But here in Britain, I know for sure that they don't see that yet. Like down in Australia and New Zealand, they've been at it for a lot longer, and the governments are helping a lot more. So hopefully over time, the British government will see that.
On a kind of wish list, it'd be they could have a bigger workshop, but that's in the future, and see what happens.
There's so many differences between different sheds. I was back in New Zealand just recently, and a friend of mine's on the shed there, and they're involved in all kinds of things. And I think I'm aware from the time that I've been here that there's quite a few things going on. So a chance to respond to the community, because I think that's an important part of what men's sheds are about, is community engagement. And so that's being responsive to what community is looking for. So I know there's been various things, all kinds of things done here in that light. So I hope that expands, that we eventually get some more space where we can have a bit more room to do more projects, that kind of thing.
Well, the future of men's sheds is a complex thing, because there's often a lot of negativity attached to single-sex enterprises or charities, and that maybe makes it a bit more difficult for them to attract support in the community. But I think what we can do here, especially at One Dalkeith, is try and replicate the model that seems to apply in Sapporo, which is people cooking, people sewing, doing art. And here at One Dalkeith, there's a huge range of things going on. Jade here and the team here look after you very well. They're clearly socially aware. It gives them a huge lift to have more people coming, doing more things. They have a cinema. All these things. I was born 50 yards away, and I didn't know this place existed because I don't live here now. And that's a thing I'm learning. And all the displays and the artwork round about, the history of Dalkeith. I'm learning a lot. I've only been here 3 months, and already I'm getting the opportunity to go to Japan with some really nice people, to meet even nicer people, I hope. It's going to be incredible. And I think this place has huge potential, but it maybe needs to go beyond the concept of a men's shed, because I think here in Dalkeith the men's shed is a different thing from the one in Galashiels, the one in Orkney, and they maybe have more specific needs in those areas, and I think we have to identify what the need here in Dalkeith is and try and go and engage with people who need that need fulfilled. So I think that's a thing to come in the years ahead.
So there you have it, a little bit of insight into what Dalkeith Men's Shed means to our members. It's always difficult to answer the question, what does Dalkeith Men's Shed mean to you? But for me, it's like coming home to an old friend after a day in the rain. And what will it mean to you? Well, we hope you get to find out next year when you come visit us for yourselves. Thank you.